Hi everyone, I'm Tim and you're watching The Man Who Planted Potatoes. Spuds update, the potatoes are looking good. They've actually been in the ground for about 9 weeks now and the packet said grow for 8 to 12 weeks. So at some point I need to have a dig around at the roots and see if there's any tubers there. The shallots are looking great too. I did have a look online for some advice about these shallots and when to harvest them. And it all depends on what bit of the shallot you want to eat. So if you want to eat the shallot plant, then that's ready after about 30 days. But if you want to eat the bulbs, then you have to wait 90 days. Mine have been in the ground for about 60 days. So we're getting there with the shallots, but it's definitely not time to pick them yet. The tomatoes are growing great and everything has germinated now except for one leek seed. Come on, man. Come on, do it. Germinate. Give me a home run. But this week's big news is the beans. We have got some beautiful seedlings coming off the beans. All of them have germinated and they are growing so fast. And that's very exciting for me because the beans had a bit of a rocky start. So initially with the beans, my hope was to grow half up bamboo canes and to grow the other half up some sticks that I just sort of found. The reason I thought that would be a good idea is because when you're growing them up bamboo, you don't really know the origin of that bamboo. It could have been grown in any number of ways, which would have had a massive CO2 output. And I thought, well, if you can grow them up sticks, then you can save yourself a little bit of money and you can also know the origin of your equipment. So I planted them and it was all going well and then the problems started. To begin with, I've been told by my friend Christine that you plant them in May because you must be absolutely sure there is no chance of a frost. So what happened the day after I planted them? That's right, I got up for work and it was freezing. And if that wasn't stressful enough, over the next couple of days I was watering them and the end of my watering can came off. And so the watering can fired a huge shoot of water right into my beans. It actually started digging the beans up and I had to re-sow them. Never mind, I thought, we'll just plough on. Here was my biggest mistake, because when I went on that walk to get those sticks, I brought back more than I needed. And I thought, oh yeah, I've got these spare sticks. Well, you know what? They're really easy to find. I'll just give the spare ones to the dog. Mistake. As soon as she chewed her first stick, she had a taste for them. And over the next few days, my dog systematically pulled all my bean supports out of the pot. Wasn't a fan of the bamboo. Oh no, just the sticks I'd picked up on a walk and had no spares of lying around because I'd fed them to her. As it stands, I've had to replace them with bamboo sticks and I've got one more stick right in the centre of the pot. And also needless to say that the dog was not in my good books, but they have pulled through and now they are growing brilliant. And I guess to a certain extent the experiment will still go ahead because we still got one stick. But now we actually have the seedlings, we need to think about the next step. Now what I've been told by every gardening expert, including the RHS, is that you sow one seed either side of each cake. And you kind of expect that only one seed is really going to germinate and make it. Now that might just be the way you have to grow beans. But if there is any way I could put in some more supports and not kill off half my beans, that would be really good. Have any of you grown beans? Is there a way to save them all? Do I just have to deal with thinning them all out? Please let me know. Okay, thank you section. This week on Instagram, thank you to Fergus, Tom, Ricky Lee Music, Corpreet, and my dad. And thank you, Dad, for liking every single post on my Instagram page within 30 seconds of following me. Dad also messaged me to ask about the self-watering plants trick that we mentioned a little while ago. Dad is attempting to water a tree using a beer keg. So please, Dad, do let me know how that goes and if it works and keep me updated. On YouTube, thank you to Banana Mana and Matt for your comments on last week's video. And on Facebook, we broke 100 likes this week. Thank you so much to Sean, Jack, Other Jack, Liz, Yana, Andre, Carla, Hannah, Benji, Sabine, Craig, Martin, Simon, John or JJ, Lynn, Alexander, Canavan, Orphan, Derek and Fran. Thank you so much, guys. I cannot tell you enough how much of a difference your support makes and how much I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And there's one more thing that's turned up in kind of a response to my work recently. I'm a member of the National Trust and the other day they sent me this magazine, 100% compostable, made from potatoes. Now this goes way back to the top 10 things to do with a potato video. This is one of them, a plastic replacement. What this tells me is that using potatoes as a plastic replacement isn't just something you could do, this is something people are doing. So yes, this is a brilliant step in the right direction. Thank you, National Trust, for doing that. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, it's time for this week's Indoor Ideas. See, this Indoor Ideas thing is kind of growing on me. Does it work for everyone else? Herbs. I've had herbs up my sleeve for a while now, just in case I got called into a really busy week at work and had to focus on that. And guess what happened this week? Herbs are just about the easiest thing you can grow. I was on a Skype call to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and even he was growing a mouldy old chive plant. By the way, hi Liam. Now, there are a number of disadvantages to growing herbs. They're not really much of a challenge. You can pretty much buy them fully grown. They don't take up much space anyway, so they'll grow really easily on a windowsill. And there's nothing you really need to do as a gardener to grow them. But there are significant advantages to growing herbs too. They're not really much of a challenge. You can pretty much buy them fully grown. They don't take up much space anyway, so they'll grow really easily on a windowsill. And there's nothing you really need to do as a gardener to grow them. This is my point, really. If you're just starting out, you're looking to see if this is for you, and you don't want gardening to take over your entire life, herbs are perfect. Herbs are tough and hardy, and a lot of times they will endure your mistakes. More importantly than that, you can go down to Tesco, to Sainsbury's, to any of the big shops today, as long as you go to a big one, and you can probably buy a whole range of herb plants. So all you really need to do is look after them. Now, you can find a whole range of tutorials on YouTube about how to look after each individual type of herb, particularly basil. There's so many videos about how to take one basil plant and turn it into this massive, overgrown jungle of basil. So I won't go into growing individual herbs now. But if you're someone who's a bit more experienced and is sat there thinking, oh yes, herbs, oh, I remember when I used to grow herbs. Oh dear, what a noob. Have a look at this for food for thought. Don't just grow one herb, get creative. Look at this picture. This is a living herb rack. How about growing them in containers they wouldn't normally grow in? Herbs are very adaptable, so if you want to do something funky and artisan with your herbs, they'll kind of go with it a lot of the time. Get out there, get creative, and see what you can do. One thing I will say about herb plants, which is almost universal, is that herbs tend to grow well if you prune them. There is a balancing point, okay, as well. If you just chop the whole thing off, it will die. But also, if you just leave the herbs and forget about them, some of the leaves will start to go brown and manky and horrible, and it's just not a pretty sight. You do need to make sure you are using them, you are cooking with them, you are pruning them regularly. And obviously, you still need to water them. Yeah, so there you have it, herbs. If you're a beginner, they're a great place to start. And if you're a more experienced gardener, they're a great way to get creative and explore just what you can do with quite simple plants. Have any of you grown herbs? Have any of you done anything interesting with herbs? Please send me ideas, send me pictures of them, get in touch and let me know. One more thing before I wrap this up. The government advice about coming out of lockdown has been a little bit vague and a little bit sketchy, to say the least. No matter what job you do and what plan the government has in mind for you, if you feel the need to stay at home and stay safe, I completely support you. But please, 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 if you are going back to work, consider cycling. Cycling is brilliant for so many reasons. It's fun, it produces no CO2, it's great for your health. I've been riding my bike every day to work, and sometimes I have to do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. But honestly, I have never enjoyed my commute to work more. You do need to cycle responsibly, and I don't want to be putting anyone in danger doing this, so you have to look after yourself first and foremost. And I appreciate not everyone can ride their bikes to work, but take it from someone who drives vans at work. I would much rather see more cyclists and have to slow down for them and have to deal with new cyclists coming onto the roads than deal with the rising number of cars on the roads, the destruction it's causing to our planet in 50 years' time. If you're out about cycling, do tag us, comment down below and let us know. If you have ideas or questions or answers or comments about anything you've seen in this video, please, please, please do get in touch. Please follow me on social media. On Twitter and Facebook, I am @manplanted, and on Instagram, I am themanwhoplantedpotatoes. You can also email me at themanwhoplantedpotatoes@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe right here on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. Your support really, really does make a difference, and I'll see you all next week.